Hello, how are you? Today we will try to teach you about Daniel 2, that means part 4. That means last time we taught you about Daniel 2. That means about the fall of that means ancient Babylonian. This is part 4. We will try to teach you about the Medo-Persian kingdom and the Grecian Empire. Medo-Persian kingdom. The succeeding kingdom, Medo-Persia, was indicated by the breast and the arms of silver of the great image. It was to be inferior to the preceding kingdom. In what respect inferior? Not in power, for it conquered Babylon, not in extent, for Cyrus subdued all the east from the Aegean Sea to the river Indus. Those erected a more extensive empire, but it was inferior in wealth, luxury, and magnificence. Viewed from a scriptural standpoint, the principal event under the Babylonian Empire was the captivity of the children of Israel. Under the Medo-Persian kingdom, it was the restoration of Israel to their own land. At the taking of Babylon, Cyrus, as an act of courtesy, assigned the first place in the kingdom to his uncle, that is his uncle Darius, in 538 BC. But 2 years afterward, Darius died, leaving Cyrus sole monarch of the empire. In this year, which closed Israel's 70 years of captivity, Cyrus issued his famous decree for the return of the Jewish, the children of Israel, return of the Jewish, and the rebuilding of their temple. This was the first installment of the great decree for the restoration and the building again of Jerusalem, Ezra 6:14, which was completed in the 7th year of the reign of Artaxerxes, 457 BC, a date of much importance, as will hereafter be shown. After a reign of 7 years, Cyrus left the kingdom to his son Cambyses, who reigned 7 years and 5 months, to 522 BC. 10 monarchs reigned between this time and the year 336 BC. The year 335 BC is set down as the first of Darius Codomanus, the last of the line of the old Persian kings. This man, according to predicts, was of a noble stature, of goodly person, of the greatest personal valor, and of a mild and generous disposition. It was his ill fortune to have to contend with one who was an agent in the fulfillment of the prophecy, and no qualifications, natural or acquired, could make him successful in the unequal contest. Scarcely was he warm upon the throne ere he found his formidable enemy, Alexander, at the head of the great. Scarcely was he warm upon the throne ere he found his formidable enemy, Alexander, at the head of the Greek soldier, preparing to dismount him from it. The cause and the particulars of the contest between the Greeks and the Persians we leave to history, especially devoted to such matters. Suffice it to say that the deciding point was reached on the field of Arbela in 331 BC, where the Grecians, though only 1 to 20 in number, as compared with the Persians, won a decisive victory. Alexander became absolute lord of the Persian Empire to an extent never attained by any of its own kings. The next is about Grecian Empire. Another third kingdom of brass shall bear rule over all the earth. The prophet had said, few and brief are the inspired words which involved a succession in world rulership. In the ever-changing political kaleidoscope, Graecia came into the field of vision to be for a time the all-absorbing object of attention as the third of what are called the universal empire of the earth. After the battle which decided the fate of the empire, Darius endeavored to rally the shattered remnant of his army and make a stand for his kingdom and his rights, but he could not gather out of all the host of his recently so numerous and well-appointed army a force with which he deemed it prudent to hazard another engagement with the victorious Grecians. Alexander pursued him on the wings of the wind. Time after time, Darius barely eluded the grasp of his swiftly following foe. At length, three traitors, Bezos, Nabarzanus, and Barsantes, seized the unfortunate prince, shut him up in a close cart, and fled with him as their prisoner toward Bactria. It was their purpose, if Alexander pursued them, to purchase their own safety by delivering up their king. Hereupon, Alexander, learning of the dangerous position of Darius in the hands of the traitors, immediately put himself with the lightest part of his army upon a forced pursuit. After several days' hard march he came up with the traitors. They urged Darius to mount on horseback for a more speedy flight. Upon his refusing to do this, they gave him several mortal wounds and left him dying in the cart, while they mounted their steed and rode away. When Alexander arrived, beheld only the lifeless form of the Persian king, who but a few months before we see seated upon the throne of universal empire. Disaster, overthrow, and desertion had come suddenly upon Darius. His kingdom had been conquered, his treasure seized, and his family reduced to captivity. Now brutality slain by the hands of traitors, he lay a bloody corpse in a rude cart. The sight of the melancholy spectacle drew tears from the eyes of even Alexander, familiar though he was with all the horrible happenings and the bloody scenes of war. Throwing his cloak over the body, he commanded that it be conveyed to the ladies of the Persian royal family who were captives at Susa, and furnished from his own treasury the necessary means for royal funeral. When Darius died, Alexander saw the field cleared of his last formidable foe. Thenceforward he could spend his time in his own manner, now in the enjoyment of rest and pleasure, and again in the prosecution of some minor conquest he entered upon a Pompey's campaign into India because, according to Grecian fable, Bacchus and Hercules, two sons of Jupiter, whose son he also claimed to be, had done the same contemptible arrogance. He claimed for himself divine honors. He gave up conquered city freely and unprovoked to the mercy of his bloodthirsty and licentious soldiery. He often murdered his friends and favorites in his drunken frenzies. He encouraged such excessive drinking among his followers that on one occasion 20 of them died as a result of their carousal. At length, having sat through one long drinking spree, he was immediately invited to another when, after drinking to each of the 20 guests, he twice drank, says history, incredible as it may seem. The full Herculean cup containing 6 of our quarts, he was seized with a violent fever of which he died 11 days later, June 30, 323 BC, while yet he stood only at the threshold of mature life in the 32nd years of his age. In the next time we will teach you and explain in you that we about the Iron Monarchy of Rome. So until that, follow us and give us comment. Thank you.